Good evening and welcome to India. Tonight we will learn more how Hinduism made a great difference in the lives of many people in India. Hinduism education. It is an important means to achieve the four aims of human life, namely as Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. In English translation, it talks about virtue, wealth, leisure, and liberation. Also, it is vital to the preservation and propagation of Dharma. So the Vedic Dharma declares that you cannot really regulate your society or your families, or you can even live in peace if you did not truly develop or aim these four aspects of human life. In Hindu culture, they call the teacher as Guru, and the word Guru has a deeper meaning. If you are a Guru, you are considered as next to God and you are highly respected by people. And if you fail to respect the Guru, you are considered as uncivilized. Hindu truly believes that a person's life is incomplete without a Guru, and it is truly difficult to attain salvation without the Guru's guidance. A true Guru not only imparts the knowledge to the student, but also protects and guides. In their curriculum, learning was long and arduous journey. They have to learn a variety of topics and able to reach the expectations of their parents and teachers. And one good thing about Hinduism, teachers exercise total autonomy in curriculum and organization in gurukuls. Pupils also, at some point, exercise autonomy in choosing their institutions and teachers. In the Gurukul system of education, it is important to practice the methods of debate, argumentation, speculation, and discussion. There is so much to learn in Hinduism, and the Seventh-day Adventists has so much respect in their culture, in their beliefs, and in their education. It is a great opportunity to learn from the philosophy of Hinduism. But as Seventh-day Adventists, we have our guide, we have our standard, and we know what to believe. Thank you for tuning in tonight. This is Jonathan Ronya reporting from India. Have a great evening.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Jonathan. At ngayon, matutunghayan naman natin mula pa rin sa bansa ng India ang balita tungkol sa edukasyon ng modern Hinduism. In the middle of the medieval age, the British invaded India and started to capture it. The modern education was introduced during British Empire using English language. The subjects and the syllabus were limited to some extent. The main aim of modern education of the British was to spread Christianity. As time passed, education started to develop and entered into the modern era, that is, in the 21st century, the era of science, technology, and innovation. Now, let's take a look on their aims of education. The first aim of education is to inculcate values in students, to develop the personality of the person, to understand the culture as well as the people in their country, and the last one, to provide education to the people who can't afford it. What about their curriculum? Their curriculum is based on activity-centered. The emphasis is given on extracurricular activities and sports for all-round development of the students. What about their methods of teaching? Their methods of teaching is based on activity-centered, such as learning by doing, experimental method, and etc. And teacher creates an environment in which students follow self-discipline. What about the role of the teacher? In modern times, teachers considered as friend, philosopher, and guide. Children are the center of the teaching and learning process. Now that we know the role of the teacher during the modern Hinduism is to be a guide and to be a friend, what is the implications of these to Adventist education? Let's read this passage from the book of Ellen G. White, Christian Education, 247, paragraph 2. It says, "Let the love of Christ pervade your own souls, and then you will unconsciously teach it to others. When your instructors commit yourselves unreservedly to Jesus, for Him to lead, guide, to control, you will not fail." Teaching your students to be Christian is the greatest work before you. We need to go to God. He hears and answers prayer. Thank you very much. And that is the news about modern Hinduism. Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig. At ito ang inyong lingkod, Miss Sheila Ihurango, nagbabalita live mula sa bansa ng India.
Jainism is an ancient religion from India that teaches that the way to liberation and bliss is to live lives of harmlessness and resignation. Jains believe that animals and plants as well as human beings contain living souls. Each of these souls considered of equal value and should be treated with respect and compassion. Jains are strict of vegetation and live in a way that minimizes their use of the world resource. Jains believe in resignation and seek to attain ultimate liberation, which means stopping the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, so that the immortal souls live forever instead of bliss. Aim of education: truth-based, relative state, and pluralist. In the state of maybe, knowledge therefore may be viewed differently, nothing fixed. Self-realization, abstract and is divine. Education must focus on his divinity and remove the material bond of souls. Believe in transmigration of soul. Hence, education may partly be the preparation for the next world. Methods of teaching: knowledge through senses and meditation. Teaching must develop all these faculties. Teaching shall be social and tolerant, and shall bring happiness to all. Jain is essentially karmic. Therefore, education must be action-based and ideally oriented. Curriculum, Pani and Pep are the two principles of nine categories. Hence, education should develop a sense of discrimination. Education should include provision for attainment of trainings, the precious principle of life that brings happiness, success, and love here and now. Education should inculcate non-violence as a virtue, practice and not only aspire for that would be socially desirable. Role of teacher: regarded of God, to have moral values, to have mastery over subject, to be well aware of the laws, to follow the three rings, to teach the students non-violence, to help the student attain liberation. Implication to Adventist education: Jainism reject God as the creator of this world, as the need to create the world would be in consonance with his necessary perfection. Jainism look upon man himself as God when his inherent powers as fully in bloom.
We already hear the different kinds of education in India, and today I am going to discuss with you about Buddhism. What is the aims of education in Buddhism? The goal of Buddhist education is to attain wisdom. The Buddha taught us that the main objective of our practice was to achieve this ultimate wisdom. The chief aim of Buddhist education is all around development of child's personality. This includes his physical, mental, moral, and intellectual development. The teaching and learning methods used to include debate, discussion, lecture, speech hearing, question and answer, deliberation, and the like. Further, the emphasis was laid on thinking, meditation, and self-study. The main subjects of Buddhist education were spinning, weaving, printing of the cloth, tailoring, accountancy, painting, Ayurveda, surgery, etc. Beside this subject, different arts and crafts also form an essential part of the curriculum. On the whole, all arts and sciences, all vocational and commercial subjects were included in the course of studies. What is the role of the teacher? The teachers were responsible for physical, mental, spiritual, and moral development of the students. Teachers loved the students and helped them in every affair. They also took care of them during their diseases and agony. What is the implication of this to Adventist education? Ellen White says, "It is the work of true education to develop this power, to train the youth to be thinkers, and not mere reflectors of others' men's thought. Instead of confining their study to what which men have said or written, let students be directed to the sources of truth, to the vast fields opened for research in nature and revelation." She also said that useful manual labor is a part of the gospel plan. The great teacher, enshrouded in the pillar of cloud, gave directions to Israel that every youth should be taught some line of useful employment. Just like Buddhism, they learned the vocational courses. Therefore, it was the custom of the Jews, the wealthy as well as the poorer classes, to teach their sons and daughters some useful trade, so that should adverse circumstances arise, they would not be dependent upon others, but would be able to provide for their own necessities. This reflects the characteristics of Buddhism system of education. I hope you learned something from our news this evening. Once again, this is Edu News. See you again next time.